I got another one of those emails from some woman asking sort of like to get to know us for the purpose of joining the family. Music. We're going to close on Coyote Pass soon. This is bull. I'm not selling this land until everything is perfectly fair and we do this the right way. Sorry. It's a standoff at the Coyote Pass final showdown. There's been more effort put into creating pain and hurting each other. Makes me angry. Music. The premiere of Sister Wives Season 20 opens with an eerie sense of tension. You can feel it in the air the moment Cody Brown steps into the room. His expression guarded, almost unreadable. The wives, Robyn, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and even newcomer voices chiming in, appear outwardly composed, but beneath the surface, simmering emotions threaten to boil over. This isn't the lighthearted season opener you might expect. From the very first minute, secrets and confrontations erupt, setting the tone for what is undoubtedly going to be the most shocking season yet. One of the first jaw-dropping moments comes when Mary, usually reserved and cautious, finally breaks her silence about the lingering tension that has haunted her marriage with Cody. Her words, sharp and cutting, are delivered with a mixture of hurt and disbelief. The kind of honesty that leaves viewers gasping. "I can't keep pretending everything is fine," she says, eyes glistening but voice steady. The camera lingers on Cody, whose attempt at a calm nod does little to hide his internal unease. Fans watching this at home are left in suspense. What exactly is going on behind the closed doors of the Brown household? Meanwhile, Janelle, never one to shy away from confrontation, immediately seizes the moment to voice her frustrations. The tension between her and Robyn, which had been subtly building over the past seasons, erupts in an explosive verbal exchange. Words are thrown like daggers, accusations flying over seemingly trivial matters. Yet anyone watching can feel the deeper currents of jealousy, resentment, and old wounds being reopened. Robyn's reaction, though measured on the surface, reveals cracks in her usual composure. The camera catches subtle hints: a tight jaw, a deliberate swallow, hands clenching at her sides. Every movement communicates a story the dialogue alone cannot convey. Christine, often the peacemaker in past seasons, appears visibly strained. There's a moment when she glances at the camera, almost pleading for understanding, as if she's silently asking the audience to see the struggle of trying to maintain harmony in a household that seems increasingly volatile. But the chaos does not wait for anyone to process it. A shocking revelation emerges mid-scene. Cody hints at a major decision that could alter the family dynamic entirely. The wives react with a mix of shock, anger, and disbelief. Some voices rise, others tremble, and for a fleeting moment, the camera captures an almost cinematic tableau of tension that could rival any scripted drama. As the episode progresses, the family gathers for what seems like a routine discussion, but it quickly transforms into a stage for emotional fireworks. Secrets long kept behind the polished facades of family life begin to surface. The conversation, initially about mundane matters, pivots abruptly to accusations of favoritism, unspoken grievances, and past betrayals. One wife blurts out something that makes Cody visibly flinch. A statement so cutting that even viewers accustomed to Brown family drama are left gasping. The energy in the room becomes electric, thick with unspoken truths and the weight of years of unresolved conflict. Then comes the moment no one expected. A private confession from Cody, captured in a quiet, intimate camera angle that makes it impossible to ignore. His voice, soft yet heavy with meaning, conveys a vulnerability rarely seen on the show. "I've been trying to hold everything together, but I can't do this alone," he admits. The camera shifts to each wife's reaction. Wide eyes, quivering lips, and stunned silence, all captured in raw, unfiltered moments. This is the type of shocking reveal that sends viewers rushing to comment sections and social media speculating about what this could mean for the family going forward. The first part of the episode closes on a cliffhanger that feels almost cinematic. A whispered exchange between two of the wives hints at a secret alliance, a revelation that promises to turn the family dynamics upside down. The camera pans out slowly, the music building a sense of impending storm. Viewers are left with one thought. Season 20 is not just starting. It has arrived with the force of a hurricane, leaving everyone in suspense about what will happen next. As the premiere hurtles forward, the tension between the wives escalates in ways that even longtime viewers may find shocking. One of the most unforgettable sequences comes when Christine, usually composed and cautious, suddenly lashes out, not with the fire of anger, but with the raw vulnerability of someone pushed to the edge. Her words cut through the room like lightning. "How much longer are we going to pretend this is all working?" The silence that follows is deafening. For a moment, the camera doesn't cut. It lingers on Cody's reaction, capturing a fleeting expression of regret and uncertainty, revealing that even he feels the weight of the cracks in his carefully constructed family structure. Meanwhile, Robyn, who has often been accused of holding an unfair amount of influence, finds herself in a precarious position. Her usually confident demeanor falters as she faces pointed questions from Janelle and Mary. The tension is palpable. Viewers can almost feel the electricity in the room as these women trade accusations and veiled criticisms. Robyn's defense is calm, yet there's a flicker of frustration in her eyes, a rare glimpse behind the mask she often wears. Every glance, every sigh, every subtle shift in posture communicates volumes about the power dynamics quietly simmering beneath the surface. And then there's Mary, whose storyline immediately captures the audience's attention. In previous seasons, she often took a backseat, keeping her feelings closely guarded. But in episode 1 of season 20, Mary's voice breaks through in a way that shocks not just Cody and the other wives but the viewers at home. Her confession about feeling marginalized and unheard adds a new layer of drama to the season. She recounts moments of isolation and disappointment, her words echoing through the room and making it impossible to ignore the emotional toll of life in such a complex household. The camera captures the subtle reactions of the other wives, some sympathetic, others guarded. And these fleeting expressions hint at alliances, rivalries, and unspoken tensions that will define the episodes to come. The episode's midpoint delivers a sequence that will undoubtedly leave fans buzzing on social media. A family discussion about future plans, which initially seems mundane, quickly escalates into an intense debate about priorities, loyalty, and the balance of attention each wife receives. Accusations of favoritism fly like sparks from a fire, igniting long-standing insecurities and resentments. Janelle's words are particularly cutting, questioning not only Cody's decisions, but also the motivations of her co-wives. The emotional intensity is heightened by close-up camera angles and carefully chosen music, making every glance and gesture feel loaded with meaning. One of the most dramatic and exclusive moments occurs when Cody calls a private meeting with 2 of the wives, leaving the rest of the family out. The secrecy of this interaction fuels speculation and curiosity. Viewers are treated to intimate camera work capturing the subtle tension and whispered conversations that suggest alliances are forming and power dynamics are shifting. While the details of the discussion are carefully framed to maintain suspense, it's clear that something significant is unfolding, something that could alter the family's trajectory and upend the established hierarchy. As the episode nears its climax, the family gathers for dinner, a setting that on the surface appears calm but is anything but. Conversations start innocuously enough, but tensions rise almost imperceptibly, revealing long, simmering conflicts. A casual comment from Mary about past decisions sparks a heated exchange, pulling in Robyn, Christine, and Janelle in a multi-directional storm of emotions. The camera captures every sharp glance, subtle smirk, and for a smile, creating a sense of suspense that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. The first episode concludes with a shocking cliffhanger, a revelation about Cody's future plans that none of the wives saw coming. The secrecy and intensity of his announcement leave the room in stunned silence, and the camera pans slowly over each wife's face, capturing a mixture of shock, disbelief, and anger. It's a moment that sets the tone for the entire season, promising further drama, secret alliances, and unexpected betrayals. Even in the final frames, the producers ensure that viewers are left gasping. A subtle interaction between 2 of the wives hints at a developing subplot that could dominate the coming episodes. The whispered words, barely audible yet unmistakably meaningful, suggest that the personal and emotional battles within the Brown household are only just beginning. By the time the credits roll, one thing is clear. Sister Wives, Season 20 is not just continuing a story. It is redefining it with intensity, raw emotion, and shocking exclusivity that no fan will want to miss. As the episode moves past its midpoint, the tension in the Brown household reaches almost unbearable levels. What started as subtle unease now erupts into full-blown confrontations that leave the wives and viewers stunned. The camera follows the family into a private living room, a space that has over the years become the stage for some of the most intense and revealing moments in Sister Wives history. But nothing could have prepared the audience for what happens next. Christine, who has long been the mediator of the family, suddenly finds herself drawn into a storm of accusations she had no idea was brewing. Janelle, with a sharpness in her voice that commands attention, confronts her over perceived slights and unspoken grievances. "You think I don't see how things really are?" Janelle asks, her eyes narrowing in a mix of hurt and anger. The tension is palpable, and viewers at home are immediately on edge, sensing that this is more than just a typical argument. This is a battle over control, recognition, and respect within the family hierarchy. Meanwhile, Robyn sits quietly, observing the confrontation with a mix of caution and strategic calculation. Her silence, however, is deceiving. Subtle camera angles catch the barely perceptible tightening of her jaw and the narrowing of her eyes, hinting that she is already preparing her response. In these moments, the show brilliantly captures the nonverbal communication that so often drives the Brown family drama. A glance, a twitch, a silent sigh speaks volumes more than any words could. Then comes one of the episode's most shocking revelations. Mary drops a bombshell about Cody's past decisions that had remained hidden for most of the family. The revelation hits like a lightning strike, leaving everyone momentarily speechless. Cody, usually composed and self-assured, falters under the weight of her words. His reaction is subtle but telling. A brief pause, a downward glance, a barely audible murmur, and it's enough to tell the audience that this revelation will have major repercussions for the family dynamic. Social media explodes with speculation as fans immediately begin theorizing about the fallout that could shape the rest of the season. The episode doesn't pause for breath. A sudden argument between Janelle and Robyn escalates in intensity, bringing past grievances into the spotlight. Viewers are treated to an almost cinematic display of conflict as the camera captures each flicker of emotion in close-up detail. Clenched fists, trembling lips, and odd darting to avoid or challenge each other. This sequence reminds fans why Sister Wives remain such a compelling watch after so many seasons. The raw human emotions, the intricate relationships, and the unfiltered reactions create drama that feels painfully real. Cody tries to step in and calm the storm, but his words land unevenly. A few of the wives give reluctant nods, while others, fueled by long-held frustrations, push back even harder. The energy in the room becomes almost electric, a space charged with years of hidden resentment, broken trust, and divided loyalties. One of the most striking moments of the episode comes when a private confession from Cody is revealed later in his interview. Speaking with a voice heavy with emotion, he admits that balancing the needs of several wives is far more complicated than anyone on the outside could imagine. This moment strips away his usual tough exterior, showing viewers the vulnerable man beneath the patriarchal image. It feels raw and real, a glimpse into the genuine struggle that drives much of the Brown family's ongoing drama. The climax of episode 1 is nothing short of explosive. A heated argument between two wives spirals out of control. Voices are raised, tears flow, and accusations fly with shocking intensity. The cameras capture everything, every glance, every tremble, every flicker of body language. For viewers, it feels like being in the room, witnessing family history unfold in its rawest form. This is unfiltered reality television at its most gripping. As the credits near, the episode delivers a staggering cliffhanger. A subtle but unmistakable alliance between two wives is teased, suggesting that secret plans, power struggles, and emotional battles are about to dominate the episodes to come. Fans are left hanging, breathless and desperate to know what happens next. The season premiere doesn't simply end. It ignites speculation, debates, and social media frenzy that will carry on for days. By the end of episode 1, it's clear that Sister Wives season 20 won't hold back. The Browns are facing explosive confrontations, painful confessions, and fragile new alliances. Each wife leaves the living room drained and shaken, their faces etched with exhaustion, frustration, and disbelief. Christine, once the steadying presence, admits in a trembling voice during her confessional, "I don't know how we're going to survive this season without breaking apart." Her vulnerability hits hard, showing viewers just how fragile the family's unity has become. Robyn retreats into quiet reflection after her clash with Janelle. In silence, she replays every word and calculates her next move, aware that her influence, loyalty, and survival now hang in a delicate balance. Mary, meanwhile, feels both empowered and unsettled after finally speaking her truth. "I just wanted to be heard." "Is that too much to ask?" she says through tears, a moment that makes fans feel her mix of courage and fear. Janelle remains unshaken, privately admitting she knows her fiery words may have shifted the family's dynamic forever. In her confessional, she even hints at possible alliances, fueling excitement about what's to come. The episode carefully sets up these threads, ensuring fans will be counting down the days until the next installment. In the final minutes, Cody gathers everyone for a family meeting. His tone is heavy, his words cryptic. This season, things are going to change, and we need to face what's coming together. The statement lands like a thunderclap, vague yet loaded with foreboding. The wives exchange uneasy looks, and viewers are left to guess what secrets remain hidden. Then, in a hushed moment, two wives share a whispered exchange, hinting at a secret plan that could completely shift the balance of power. It's a small, subtle act, but one that fans will dissect endlessly online. The credits roll over a montage of long stares, suppressed sighs, and unresolved tension. The haunting soundtrack only amplifies the unease, leaving the audience with questions. Can Cody still lead this fractured family? Will the wives endure the weight of their conflicts? Or is this the beginning of the end for the Brown family as viewers have known it? Online reaction is immediate and fierce. Within hours of airing, episode 1 dominates social media. Outrage, theories, and backlash erupt across TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube. Fans slam Cody and Robyn with unrelenting criticism. One viral post declares, "Cody Brown is no longer a husband or father, he's just a cautionary tale with great hair." Another mocks Robyn. The performance of the century is her crying on her throne of destruction. Yet amid the anger, sympathy floods in for Mary, Janelle, and the children. Once quiet figures like Gabriel and Garrison gain an outpouring of support, with fans praising their honesty and strength. Rumors even swirl that Cody has been quietly excluded from certain filming situations, fueling speculation that the sister wives' empire is cracking wide open. And hanging over it all is the question, is this the beginning of the end, not only for Cody Brown as the family patriarch, but for sister wives itself? Adding to the buzz, reports break that Cody is stepping into an entirely different spotlight. He has been cast in Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, a brutal reality competition where celebrities undergo military-style training. For someone long defined by polygamy, this marks a dramatic shift, an attempt to prove himself beyond the crumbling family drama. Fans are intrigued. Will Cody redeem himself by surviving grueling challenges, or will his flaws be exposed on an even larger stage? Meanwhile, Janelle embraces new adventures of her own. After years of hardship, she documents her first trip abroad to Canada, proudly sharing that she faced her fear of driving in a foreign country. It's a small but empowering milestone, proof that life after the Brown family storm is possible. Between personal journeys, public backlash, and reality TV reinvention, Sister Wives Season 20 sets the stage for a ride unlike any before. Explosive arguments, whispered alliances, shifting loyalties, and even outside ventures will ensure that the drama doesn't just stay inside the Brown household. The premiere proves one thing beyond doubt. After 2 decades, the Browns can still shock, captivate, and spark debates across the world. Janelle Brown's story has always been marked by quiet resilience and a practical strength that often set her apart from the other women within Cody Brown's plural marriage. Yet her true independence and self-assertion only began to surface once she stepped away from the constraints of her decades-long relationship. For years, viewers had watched her hold the family together in ways that went largely unrecognized. She was the one balancing finances, ensuring stability and providing a calm, measured presence when tensions inevitably flared between the wives, or when Cody's increasingly authoritarian tendencies cast a shadow over the household. Unlike Christine, who wore her emotions openly, or Robyn, whose attachment to Cody was more intense and vocal, Janelle embodied a quieter form of competence, strong but understated, dependable but not dominant, the sort of person without whom the day-to-day running of such a vast and complicated family structure would have collapsed. Yet beneath this calm exterior, she had long suppressed her own ambitions and desires, partly because of the patriarchal framework in which the family operated, and partly because of her own loyalty to the vision of plural marriage she had once wholeheartedly embraced. It is for this reason that her recent embrace of independence, particularly illustrated through something as seemingly ordinary as her trip to Canada, struck such a deep chord with audiences. At first, she admitted to feeling nervous at the thought of driving in a foreign country. The roads were unfamiliar. The speed limits were marked in kilometers rather than miles, and the general systems of travel were not those she had grown accustomed to in the United States. For many, this might have been a trivial detail, but for Janelle and indeed for longtime fans of the show, it became a symbol of transformation. Here was a woman who had spent 3 decades deferring to Cody's authority, A woman who had at one time placed her financial security in his hands, discovering that she was more than capable of navigating unfamiliar terrain entirely on her own. The metaphor could not have been clearer. She was, at long last, in the driver's seat of her own life. What elevated this moment from the personal to the profound was not merely the act itself, but the way it resonated with those who had followed her journey. Social media was flooded with admiration and encouragement. On Instagram, comments appeared from women who said they saw themselves reflected in Janelle's quiet rebellion. Seeing Janelle smile on her Canada trip is healing for all of us who stayed too long in relationships that held us back. On TikTok, short clips of her laughter and confidence were overlaid with captions such as, "She always deserved this freedom," and "Driving in a new country may sound small, but after 30 years of being controlled, it's monumental." These reactions underscored that her holiday was not simply about tourism, but about crossing an emotional and psychological border. She was leaving behind not just the geographical familiarity of her American home, but also the patterns of dependence, hesitation, and self-effacement that had defined much of her adult life. It was a declaration, perhaps even unconsciously, that she was ready to step fully into her own identity as an independent woman, one who no longer required Cody's validation or approval in order to feel secure. This rebirth carried even greater poignancy given the recent tragedy of her son Garrison's passing. For many, grief becomes a paralyzing force, but in Janelle's case, it seemed to deepen her resolve to keep moving forward, to live more deliberately, and to seek out moments of joy and exploration even in the face of profound loss. There was a bittersweetness in watching her smile in Canada, knowing the heartbreak she carried. Yet that smile became emblematic of resilience, the ability to honor sorrow without allowing it to extinguish one's spark. In this sense, Janelle's journey mirrored Christine's in unexpected ways. Whereas Christine had chosen to heal through love, finding new companionship and laughter with David Woolley, Janelle's path was one of solitary empowerment, of rediscovering her own capabilities after years of compromise. Both women, however, were united by the fact that they had stepped outside Cody's shadow, and in doing so, had found a kind of happiness and authenticity that had long eluded them. For Janelle, the Canada trip was not just a holiday. It was a rite of passage, a statement of intent, and perhaps even a promise to herself that her future would no longer be defined by fear, control, or self-denial, but by courage, autonomy, and the simple joy of steering her own course.